Welcome to part 3 of my Ash roleplay run series, where I run Ash's teams, movesets, and strategies through each game until he becomes the champion. In Kanto, Ash was a bit of a mess with terrible team and awful strategies. In Johto, Ash's battle strategies improved a ton, but his team building stagnated when he over-relied on his Kanto Pokemon to carry him through the endgame. In Hoenn, Ash is trying again, starting the game with 3 Pokemon, Pikachu, Taillow, and Trico. Taillow starts with Peck and Wing Attack, the latter of which is already the best damage-dealing flying-type move Ash has ever had. Taillow is looking promising, and I'm excited to use it. Unfortunately, Taillow won't be coming to the first gym, which is a Rock-type specialist. For that, Ash is going to be using his trusted Ground-type counter Pikachu, alongside the Grass-type Trico. In the previous 2 anime series, Pokemon would use new moves arbitrarily, but in Hoenn, things actually make a lot more sense. Instead of learning new moves on the spot, this anime takes time teaching Pokemon new moves, sometimes over long training arcs spanning several episodes. To prepare for Roxanne, Ash spends time training Pikachu, eventually teaching the mouse Iron Tail in place of agility. So far in the anime, Ash has consistently used Pikachu to counter pretty much every opposing ground type he's come across, and it has never made any sense. Teaching Pikachu Iron Tail is clearly an attempt to correct that, giving Pikachu the ability to defeat Pokemon like Geodude that are immune to Thunderbolt and resist Quick Attack. It's a great idea, and I love this addition to Pikachu. At this point, Pikachu still hasn't fully mastered Iron Tail, and can't use the move twice in a row. Still, this move is great at helping Ash defeat Geodudes in Roxanne's gym. However, Roxanne herself is going to be a tougher trainer. In the anime, her Geodude has Mega Punch, Rock Throw, and Rock Tomb, while her Nosepass has Rock Tomb, Sandstorm, and Zap Cannon. This is a kind of insane moveset for a first gym leader. Ash's last Pokemon is Trico, which should be an excellent counter to Roxanne's rock types. In the anime gym battle, Ash sends out Trico first against Roxanne's Geodude.
Based on type, Trico's got the advantage as a grass Pokemon.
That's true, but there's a small problem, and that would be Trico doesn't know how to use any grass attacks.
Hey, then that's a big problem.
Wow. We have an immediate utter disaster. Even May, someone who canonically disliked Pokemon at the start of the series and is consistently shown being among the least knowledgeable of rookie trainers at this point, understands how big a problem this is. Right now, Trico knows Pound and Quick Attack, neither of which can touch Geodude. In the anime, Trico gets dominated here, as he should be. Now it's all up to Pikachu. Our electric mouse has spent the last several episodes learning Iron Tail for this specific battle. It's time for him to earn a victory against a ground type that actually makes sense. One where he doesn't rely on thunder. Oh my god, anime. Are you kidding me? You had one job. One. How do you screw this up? Okay, yeah, Ash's strategies are doomed. When I try to use his strategies, he never makes it to the Nosepass. Geodude 2 hits Trico and 3 hits Pikachu, taking minuscule chip damage in the process. Ash's strategies sucked in this battle. When I abandon Ash's strategies and focus on his Pokemon, things are still pretty suspect. Iron Tail 2-hit KOs Geodude, but since Pikachu can't use the move twice in a row, it's still an uphill battle. Ash's other Pokemon struggle even harder. Trico can't do anything to Geodude with normal-type moves, and Taillow's Wing Attack isn't much better. The cool solution here is to lead Pikachu and use Iron Tail against Geodude before switching out to Trico. By sacking Ash's Grass-type, Pikachu gets enough of a break to recharge its Iron Tail, using a second one to take out Geodude. I love playing around anime-specific quirks of the battle, and I think it would have been really cool if Ash had actually used this strategy in the anime. Of course, this strategy brings in the Nosepass against a low-health Pikachu. This Nosepass is really bulky, and it wipes out Ash's hopes and dreams. The less cool solution that actually gets me past this battle is for Pikachu to crit Geodude with Iron Tail. With full health, Pikachu was able to beat Nosepass in a close battle, proving that this battle is technically possible for Ash's team. Hilariously, the Iron Tail that Pikachu trained so hard to get isn't even useful against Nosepass. Thunderbolt does slightly more damage than Iron Tail against the Mono Rock type, which makes Pikachu saving this move for Nosepass even worse. Do the writers know yet that there's a difference between the rock and ground types? I really don't think they do. I sure hope they figure it out eventually. They've only been writing this show for almost 5 years at this point. This is not a good start. It's technically possible, so I'm grading this one as Ash had the Pokemon, but not the strategies. On the way to Dewford Town, Taylor learns Quick Attack, but Wing Attack is still its best move. As a flying type, Ash leads against Brawly's Machop. In the anime, Taylor starts with a string of Wing Attacks, but Machop's surfing skills helps it roll with the punches to absorb the damage. After tiring Taylor out, Machop counters with a cross chop and one-shots Taylor. Trico eventually beats Machop with a string of pounds, but it is exhausted when Brawly's second Pokemon comes out. Makuhita dominates Trico and evolves into Hariyama during the match to knock Trico out. Ash loses his first attempt against Brawly. You might assume that this episode is inaccurate because Brawly's Machop can't survive 6 wing attacks. That's true, but it doesn't matter because it only needs to survive 1. For some reason, the anime decided to give this Machop Cross Chop, a base power 100 fighting type move, so Machop still wins this matchup. Ash's Trico also sucks, so in the games it can't even beat Machop, and Brawly destroys Ash without even using his Hariyama. Brawly got buffed in the anime to an unreasonable extent, and Ash is nerfed by using a useless grass type that still doesn't know a grass type move. So far, Trico is challenging Squirtle for the title of Ash's worst Pokemon of all time. Ash loses here, but that's actually a point for the show, since he lost here in the anime too. So, Ash spends some time on Dewford Island training, catching a new Pokemon before the rematch. Corphish is basically Kingler at home, but caught in a much earlier portion of the playthrough. Its stats lean into its role as a slow, frail, physical attacker, but it makes up for this with a solid moveset. It begins with Bubble Beam, Crab Hammer, Vice Grip, and Harden, giving it decent physical and special damage against pretty much everything. Corphish also learns all of its moves pretty much immediately. It does not learn another move until Pokemon Journeys. With Corphish in place of our useless Trico, Ash might just have a shot against our overpowered Brawly. Wait, I got that wrong. We're using Corphish in place of the flying type, and still using Trico as the ace. We are screwed. I train against trainers near Slateport and try the battle again using Ash's strategies in the rematch, but it does not go well. Machop misses a cross chop, which lets me reach Hariyama, but even then it's not close. I'm not even going into detail on Ash's strategies here, because they do not matter. Trico is just so outclassed right now. Instead of trying again, I head back to Slateport and fight May. In this challenge, I am changing May in the same way I'm changing the gym leaders, and as a result, she's not very good. Even without ever using Pikachu to keep the battles fair, Ash easily defeats May every time. Having said that, I want you to look at the screen right now. As Trico is fighting May's Skitty, the cat uses Assist. This calls Silver Wind, which hits Trico for super effective damage, then gives Skitty an Omni Boost. I love this. In the anime, May was known for using luck-based strategies like Assist and Metronome in contests, often hitting the perfect move at the exact time she needed it. If the writers had known Silverwing could give Pokemon an Omni Boost, they definitely would have used this interaction. Perfection. At level 22, after beating every trainer I could around Mauville City, the Brawly fight is still hopeless with Ash's strategies. Machop misses a cross chop on Corphish, and Corphish crits Hariyama with a Crab Hammer, but it's still not enough. Trico is just so bad, and Corphish can't 1v2. With Taylor in place of Trico, things are different. At level 21, Taylor can now one-shot Brawly's Machop and 2-hit KO Hariyama, narrowly surviving a vital throw to do it. This gym battle was a disaster for Ash, but because it's possible to delay it for so long, he is able to pull it off eventually. I'm going to give this battle a grade of, he brought the wrong Pokemon. This battle was awful, but I'm sure Ash can do better against Wattson, right? In the anime, right before battling Wattson, Pikachu overcharges its electricity after absorbing energy from a mechanical Raikou. This is basically the equivalent of accidentally ingesting illegal performance-enhancing drugs right before the match, and as a result, Pikachu one-shots every single one of Wattson's Pokemon with Thunderbolt. Wow. Okay then. How do I even build Wattson's anime-accurate team from this? In the anime, we know his Magnemite knows Swift and Thunder Wave, his Voltorb knows Screech, and his Magneton knows Zap Cannon. Normally, I'd just program his team that way, but because the battle was so short, he didn't get a chance to show off his full moveset in the battle. So I made a very slight modification to Wattson's moveset, giving Magnemite Thundershock and Voltorb Spark, so that every member of his team at least has a damage-dealing electric move. I still have no idea what Wattson was trying to do with Screech on a team of special attackers, but neither did the anime, so that's okay. Without performance-enhancing electricity, could Ash win this battle? Let's find out. Pikachu starts the battle with Thunderbolt, but Magnemite paralyzes the mouse with Thunder Wave. Magnemite deals a lot of damage with Swift, but Pikachu is too much for it, knocking Wattson's first Pokemon out. Wattson sends out Voltorb next, which takes revenge on Pikachu with a series of sparks. After that, Ash sends out Trico, which is somehow still Ash's second best Pokemon against electric types. Trico is able to take down Voltorb in a slow back and forth battle with Quick Attack, prompting Wattson to send out his final Pokemon. Magneton resists Trico's moves, but it can't hit Trico with Zap Cannon. Our Grass type waits for the last moment to dodge multiple times in a row before clutching up, surviving a Zap Cannon on 2 HP. After this, Magneton uses Struggle. Trico faints, setting up our final matchup as Corphish versus a Magneton that is out of electric moves. The two go back and forth, with Magneton tanking Crabhammers and doing a shocking amount with Struggle. This battle comes down to the wire, but in the end, Magneton uses one last Struggle. For a second it looks like the battle is going to be a draw, until Corphish clutches up at 1 HP while Magneton knocks itself out. What the heck was that, anime? Seriously, how did my in-game fight end up just as scuffed and ridiculous as the anime battle? Did Trico apply its lessons of perfect dodging, exhausting Magneton, running it out of electricity to let Corphish take the victory? I don't even understand this battle, and I strongly suspect that Ash should not have gotten the win here, but somehow, he won first try. For the record, if Wattson had used his in-game team, Ash would have been destroyed, and I have absolutely no idea how I could possibly get through it. Taillow and Corphish are both weak to electric moves, Trico is awful, and Pikachu trades neutrally at best. The anime buffed Roxanne and Brawly, then fired their entire Nerf gun arsenal at Wattson to let Ash through this battle unscathed. After defeating Wattson, Trico finally learns a Grass-type move. It's not a particularly good move. Bullet Seed is only a base power 10 move that hits between 2 and 5 times, but it's something. This would have been great before Roxanne, but now it does little to help Trico escape its struggles. With that single moveset change, Ash is ready for Flannery. Based on our anime strats, Ash leads Corphish against Flannery's Magcargo. Corphish uses Bubble Beam and... oh, great, nice job, Corphish. Next, Flannery sends out Slugma, so Ash calls back Corphish for... Trico. You'll notice I'm using Switch Mode here, and that's because the anime uses Switch Mode. I'm going to be playing on Set Mode when I'm making my own strategies, but I will take advantage of Switch Mode to better reenact Ash's strategies. In the anime, some shenanigans happen here, but yep, there goes Trico. We're back to Corphish, and the battle is 1-1. In the anime, Ash starts with Crabhammer to blow away a smokescreen, then goes in for Vice Grip. Slugma punishes this with Yawn, so Ash switches out. In the games, we get a similar minor disaster here, as Corphish misses its Crabhammer, and Vice Grip doesn't KO. Ash switches to Pikachu, but switches in the game aren't free. Pikachu takes a Flamethrower, doesn't break through with Quick Attack, then gets KO'd by a second Flamethrower. It's all up to Corphish now. Our Water type finishes off Slugma with Bubble Beam, but switches to Vice Grip for Torkoal. Damage from earlier, Corphish can't survive a Flamethrower, and Flannery wins the match. So the strategies in this battle are a complete mess. Harden and Iron Defense are being used to block special attacks. Ash uses Vice Grip with Corphish 3 separate times, he brings Trico into the battle, and Pikachu really takes its time to use Thunderbolt. Corphish is strong against this team when he's allowed to use water moves, but Ash's strategies are making this one really difficult. My next attempt, the same thing happens, but what happens when Corphish doesn't miss Crabhammer? In that case, getting past the Slugma is easy, but a Pikachu Thunderbolt, Corphish Vice Grip, and Corphish Crabhammer is barely just not enough to get past Torkoal. I try 2 more times, and both times Torkoal survives on red health, giving Flannery the victory. Ash's strategies are close to winning this battle, and it's definitely doable using them with a bit of luck. However, Ash could also just lead Corphish, use Bubble Beam 4 times, and win. With Ash's strategies, this battle is super inconsistent, but if he just uses Water-type moves against the Fire-type gym leader, he has a pretty clear and obvious path to victory. I tried to give Ash the benefit of the doubt, to try again and again with the strategies, but it just didn't work for me. So, Ash is getting a grade of he had the Pokemon, but not the strategies for Flannery. So far, Ash's team has been a bit of a disappointment, but that's about to change. After defeating Flannery, Ash gets serious about training Trico, evolving it into Grovyle and learning Leaf Blade. Overnight, the Grass type went from the worst Pokemon Ash has ever had to become arguably the best Pokemon on his team. With a base power of 70 and a high chance to crit, Leaf Blade is a fantastic move that will carry Ash through the rest of the game. Ash also catches another Pokemon, Torkoal. In the anime, Torkoal seriously underperforms and loses a lot of battles it shouldn't, but its fundamentals actually are pretty good. Base 85 special attack lets it do some serious damage with Flamethrower and Overheat, and its defense stat of 140 makes it a physical tank. Torkoal is very slow, which is a massive downside, but its positive traits make it an immediate massive contributor to the team. The next gym leader is Norman, and, well, Max is not going to like what I'm about to say here. An anime-accurate Norman is easily one of the worst gym leaders Ash has ever faced. It's bad. In the anime, Norman uses Slackoth, Vigoroth, and Slacking. The Slackoth knows Shadow Ball, Blizzard, and Hidden Power. What type of Hidden Power? I have no idea, and neither does the anime. This is 3 special moves coming from a special attack stat of 35, with Truant as its ability, making it only able to attack every other turn. Somehow, in the show, this thing forces Ash to switch out Pikachu, which is complete nonsense. Norman's Vigoroth knows Scratch and Flamethrower. And yes, you heard me right. Not Slash and Flamethrower, he knows Scratch and Flamethrower. To make this fight seem close, the anime has Vigoroth one-shot Torkoal with Scratch, a move that should do pretty much nothing to the defensive behemoth. Last, we have Norman's Slacking, which is theoretically terrifying. It's insanely bulky and runs Focus Punch, Hyper Beam, and Earthquake, all powerful physical moves that can probably one-shot everything Ash has. The problem here is Focus Punch. This move is great. It has a base power of 150, always moves last, and fails if the opponent hits the Pokemon while it's charging up. Honestly, this move should make for some fascinating and strategic anime fights, making the battle all about positioning and using other moves to buy enough space to use this overpowered but hard to pull off move. The problem? The anime writers had no idea how this move worked, and completely ignored the downsides of this move. The writers loved Focus Punch and used it constantly in advance, but they used it in the most boring way imaginable because they seemingly never read what this move actually does. Seriously, I'm not kidding, check out this clip.
This is not over, Father! Not until one of them uses that attack!
What attack?
But that one's the most powerful attack for your Hitmonchan and my Hitmonlee!
Which means it will be the attack that finally decides this battle one way or the other, as soon as one of them pulls it out.
But what is that attack?
Hitmonlee! Hitmonchan! Focus Punch!
In a room full of competent writers, Focus Punch is one of the most interesting moves a Pokemon can pull off, because the secondary effect is inherently self-limiting. If you want a move that's powerful, strategic, and not spammable, this is the move to have Pokemon use. In this scene, Focus Punch invalidated every single other move the Pokemon could have made, completely invalidated the idea of Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan battling in different styles, and makes me question why Ash and May didn't call for this overpowered move first. By refusing to acknowledge what moves do beyond their base power, the anime intentionally made itself boring. And also unintentionally made this fight really, really easy for Ash. In the games, Pikachu dominates Slackoth, then Slacking comes out. The game AI, just like the writers for the anime, has no idea what Focus Punch does, and is just as obsessed with using it as the anime writers are. As a result, Slacking repeatedly uses Focus Punch and slowly lets Grovyle take it out. Torkoal easily takes out Vigoroth, giving Ash a clean 3-0 sweep. I could move on, but I do question whether this is fair. On one hand, the anime writers and the game's AI both not knowing what this move does is kind of hilarious and fitting for this challenge. On the other hand, Ash won using game AI exploit, which isn't really a legitimate representation of Norman's power. What happens when I go back to this battle and remove Focus Punch from Slacking's moveset? Well, that turns this battle into a nightmare. When it's willing to use Hyper Beam, Slacking outspeeds and one-shots Grovyle. Pikachu deals some chip damage, but Slacking can also one-shot the mouse with Earthquake. Torkoal and its massive base 140 defense comes in clutch, surviving Hyper Beam on 1 HP and taking out Slacking with Flamethrower. Unfortunately, Norman still has Vigoroth, so it's able to defeat the weakened turtle with Scratch. My next attempt, I try to save Pikachu for Vigoroth, but the mouse just doesn't have enough bulk to take out Norman's energetic Slaw. On my third attempt, things line up. Slacking uses Earthquake instead of Hyper Beam against Torkoal, allowing my turtle to survive with 25 HP left. This is enough to take an additional Scratch from Vigoroth, then one-shot Norman's last Pokemon with a critical hit, Overheat. Even when Norman doesn't have Focus Punch, Ash's strategies could still barely pull out the victory. Well, this got a lot closer than I thought it would. Ash has finally defeated a Hoenn gym leader using nothing but his own mind. Thank you, Torkoal, for making this possible. On the way to Fortree City, Torkoal learns Body Slam, finishing off its moveset. With the ability to hit fire types for neutral damage, Torkoal's moveset is genuinely great. Actually, I'd say it's probably Ash's best moveset so far. Flamethrower is consistent damage, Overheat can nab KOs that are out of reach for Flamethrower, Body Slam gives good damage against fire resists, and Iron Defense has its niches to further buff that incredible defense stat. Torkoal's speed stat stops it from being Ash's best Pokemon of all time, but its moveset is excellent. Taillow also gets a massive upgrade, evolving into Swellow. With a blisteringly fast 125 speed and 85 attack, Swellow can get consistent damage on pretty much anything using Aerial Ace. It's not an all-star, but this is by far the best regional bird Ash has ever had. The team is really growing, but will that be enough to stop Winona? Let's check in on the anime and see how Ash handles her. In the anime, Ash's Grovyle takes out Winona's Altaria with grass moves. Winona sends out Pelipper, so Ash sends out Pikachu for the easy victory. Unfortunately for Ash, Pelipper has learned to deflect electric attacks by using Steel Wing as a lightning rod. Pelipper can't keep this technique up forever, and the two eventually KO each other with Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump. Winona's last Pokemon is Swellow, which dominates Grovyle. This sets up a 1v1 between Ash's Swellow and Winona's Swellow. The gym leader's bird knows Aerial Ace and Hyper Beam while also having an aerial battle experience edge, but Ash's clever strategies save him and earn him the badge. So my first thought on seeing this anime battle was, wow, Ash has this in the bag. The writers robbed Pikachu against Pelipper, so the electric type should dominate this battle and bring Ash an easy win. My thought process wasn't wrong per se, but it wasn't fully right either. I forgot about Altaria, which is a menace. In the anime, Altaria only knows Peck and Dragon Breath, but with an X4 Grass Resist and an Electric Neutrality, this Pokemon can single-handedly crush all of Ash's hopes and dreams. Grovyle defeating this thing in the anime is insane. Sure, you can argue that Grovyle jumping above Altaria negated Altaria's Flying-type Grass resistance, but Altaria's Dragon typing also resists Grass. This dragon is naturally bulky, so Pikachu just kinda loses the 1v1. Swellow eventually takes out the dragon with Wing Attack, but Winona's Swellow easily finishes off Ash's paralyzed bird with Aerial Ace. My next attempt is even worse. Altaria crits and paralyzes Swellow with Dragon Breaths, then paralyzes Pikachu with the move, eventually letting Swellow finish off the mouse with Hyper Beam. My third attempt is a fair bit better. Grovyle still faints early, but without crits or paralysis, Swellow is capable of going wing to wing with Altaria, defeating the dragon. Winona's Swellow comes in and knocks out Ash's Swellow with Hyper Beam, which seems bad, but is actually exactly what Ash needs. On her recharge turn, Pikachu takes out Swellow with Thunderbolt, then easily blasts Pelipper out of the sky with the same move, giving Ash a narrow, hard-fought victory with his strategies. The last two gyms haven't been pretty, but they have been doable. Ash's team got better, and it's giving him a winning streak. That's 2 gyms in a row where Ash earned the gym badge with his own strategies. In between the 6th and 7th gym, Ash spends most of his time training up Swellow. This training pays off in Swellow learning Aerial Ace and Double Team. Aerial Ace is a version of Wing Attack that can't miss, which is nice, but a bit underwhelming. Double Team is a super cheesy move that could bail us out in desperate situations, but Swellow is a bit too frail to use it constantly. Ash also rewards Swellow's improvements by using it in the next gym battle alongside Pikachu. Let's check the anime to see how this battle goes. Ash's battle against Tate and Liza is a bit infamous in the anime scene. Pikachu and Swellow go up against Tate and Liza's Solrock and Lunatone in a double battle. This battle has a bit of everything, including a lesson about teamwork and a Team Rocket invasion, but none of that is particularly important for us. The controversial part of this episode is Thunder Armor. Tate and Liza's light screen is making it really hard for Pikachu to break through their defenses, so to win, Pikachu intentionally has Thunderbolt reflect off of their light screen to hit itself and Swellow. Instead of KOing Swellow, this electric attack boosts their power somehow, allowing Ash's Pokemon to make their final attacks and finish off the Psychic types. This sequence is peak anime ridiculousness. It makes zero sense, and my best way of replicating in-game is to have Pikachu target Swellow with Thunderbolt. You might be thinking that this strategy will cost Ash the battle. If so, you're wrong, because this battle was lost way before it ever reached that point. When I try to replicate Ash's strategies, Pikachu's Quick Attack and Swellow's Peck do nothing to the Psychic duo. In retaliation, Lunatone one-shots Swellow with Ice Beam, then next turn, the Celestial Bodies two-shot Pikachu with Psychic. Ash isn't even getting past turn 2 with his strategies. He's also not getting past this battle with Pikachu and Swellow. My next battle, I use Thunder on Lunatone while setting up Double Team with Swellow. This time, Lunatone one-shots Pikachu with Psychic, and then eventually one-shots Swellow with Ice Beam. It's not close. Okay, so let's try Grovyle and Corphish instead for super effective damage. It's still bad. Corphish gets outsped and OHKO'd by Solrock's Psychic. Grovyle eventually gets rid of Lunatone with 2 Leaf Blades, but Solrock finishes the Grass type off with another Psychic. If Ash had Crawdaunt instead of Corphish, he'd crush this battle, but Corphish's low speed and frailty are really catching up to it at this point in the playthrough. Ash is showing a concerning pattern of being absolutely terrible with water types, and it's making life really difficult for him here. I spend some time training in the ocean, getting Grovyle up to 40 and Corphish to level 42, but things don't get much better. Corphish still falls to a single Psychic, and Grovyle gets taken out by Ice Beam, as this battle goes even worse for me than the last one did. Okay, so Corphish is useless, but what if I paired Grovyle with Swellow? Maybe the bird can serve as a double-teaming distraction while Grovyle knocks out their team? Nope, that doesn't work either. Lunatone just KOs Grovyle with an Ice Beam immediately, knocking out Ash's hopes of winning. I fight more trainers in the ocean and get Grovyle to level 42 before trying again. Corphish is still mostly useless in this battle, but this time it baits out Solar Beam from Solrock, giving Grovyle just enough time to KO Lunatone and make the battle a 1v1. Ash's Grass type brushes off a Psychic from Solrock and finishes off the Sun with a critical hit Leaf Blade. Oof, Tate and Liza were brutal. The anime rules forcing a 2v2 made life really difficult for Ash here. For this battle, Ash gets a grade of, he brought the wrong Pokemon. Pikachu and Swellow never should have won this battle. He needed to use Grovyle to have a chance. It's been a bumpy road, but Ash has 7 badges. Before the 8th gym, he fills out his team with one last Pokemon, a tiny Snorunt. This frail Ice type starts with Icy Wind, Double Team, and Headbutt, which is a decent but underwhelming set. Right now, this Pokemon is terrible, but I'm glad Ash is getting an Ice type. He's traditionally struggled against Dragon types, so if it improved, this could be just the Pokemon he needs to round out his team. Juan is the last gym leader, and in the anime, his gym battle is unique. It's a 5v5 battle, but it starts off as a double battle, then is a single battle after his first 2 Pokemon are knocked out. Ash leads off with Pikachu and Snorunt against Juan, Celio, and Seaking. Pikachu goes for Thunderbolt, but Seeking blocks the Thunderbolt with a Horn Drill and redirects it at Snorunt. Ash is surprised at this level of BS, and Juan just says this.
Ash, if those simple moves caught you off guard, then this won't be much of a match.
So, Ground-type horns are weak to electricity, but Water-type horns repel electricity. Got it. Eventually, Seeking takes out Snorunt with Hyper Beam, but Ash takes out Juan's Pokemon with Pikachu and Corphish. As they transition to the single battle portion, things look bad when Grovyle loses to Love Disc, but Pikachu is able to help Ash come back and eventually win the battle. So, can Ash win in the games? To make this battle work, I had to be a bit creative, splitting Juan into 2 trainers and not allowing healing in between them. This battle starts off with disaster. Pikachu's Thunderbolt doesn't KO Celio, then Seeking's Horn Drill connects with Snorunt, giving Juan an early 1-0 lead. Ash quickly sends out Corphish, which gets hit by an Aurora Beam. Next turn, Pikachu deals heavy damage to Seeking with Thunderbolt, while Corphish doesn't knock out Celio with Bubble Beam. Our protagonist should have a pretty clear path to victory at this point, but Pikachu's Iron Tail misses Celio, Corphish is hard and is pretty much useless, and Seeking KOs Ash's Electric type with Hyper Beam. Swallow and Corphish are able to clean up from here with Aerial Ace and Crabhammer, but the double battle portion did not go well for Ash. Going into the single battle, he's down 2.5 Pokemon, including his Electric type. To catch up, he's going to need a Miracle, which he gets almost immediately. In our run, Grovyle's Bullet Seed hits 5 times against Love Disc, critting on its 4th hit, barely one-shotting the Heart Pokemon. Suddenly, Ash is in the lead with Hope. I forgot to turn on Switch Mode for this battle, so when Whiscash comes out, I mess up. I switch to Swellow, taking a Tickle in the process, before realizing I should be fighting with Corphish instead. I switch to the Water type, which gets KO'd by a Surf, then head back to Swellow. Ash's Flying type puts up a fight against Whiscash, dealing good damage with Quick Attack and Aerial Ace, but Whiscash's Tickle and Surf combo is too much for it. It's Grovyle against the world now. The good news? Since we're in uncharted territory, Grovyle is free to ignore Ash's strategies and spam Leaf Blade. The Grass type easily takes down Whiscash, and we're left with a 1v1 between Grovyle and Milotic to decide the match. Grovyle's Leaf Blade trades with Milotic's Hydro Pump, both dealing severe damage to each other. When Milotic hits with his second Hydro Pump, it looks like the battle might be over, but Grovyle survives at 2 HP. Our Tree Lizard uses this chance to launch one more Leaf Blade at the Snake Monster, and it's just barely enough. Grovyle defeats Juan's Water Snake, and Ash barely escapes with his 8th gym badge. What a turnaround for Grovyle. This Pokemon started our playthrough as a contender for the worst Pokemon Ash has ever caught, and it's ending the playthrough as Ash's best on this team. The Grass Starter carried us through the 7th and 8th gyms, and is proof that with enough hard work and dedication, any Pokemon can shine. Before the final challenges, Ash gets one more team upgrade. Snorunt evolves into Glalie and learns Ice Beam, transforming the weak Ice type into a competent Ice type. This Pokemon is immediately useful, helping Ash crush Wally in front of Victory Road, allowing him to unlock his greatest challenge of the run. With 8 gym badges, Ash qualifies for the Hoenn League, but can he win it? Find out next time as Ash's team challenges the Evergrande Conference.